Hello and welcome to Food Rebels. We are the food and drink show dedicated to the exciting world of food founders, challenger brands. Really, we want to find the people making food and drink who are doing things a little bit differently. Don't be put off by the word rebel, but we do like the rebellious ones too. We're looking for all the really exciting people. We want to hear the stories where you've done something differently. So you know me, I'm AJ, the show host, taste expert, food writer, great taste judge, all that kind of stuff. And I'm delighted this week to be joined by Colin Mordi, who founded Food Source Media, which is a foodie agency that works with brands from startups to more established companies. But Colin is really passionate about improving representation of Black and ethnic minority businesses in foodie entrepreneurs and has been campaigning for better equality. We're really excited to have you in the show, Colin. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Cool. How did you get into food?
So basically, obviously, I love cooking. I love food. I love, cooking with my mum. I'm come from Nigeria, so good flavors, and also finished working at. I've worked for brands like Samsung and Procter and Gamble, and I just initially started as a side hustle, really, and then started approaching brands. It started off a blog as well, and approaching brands to work with and feature them across social media, really. So that's how it started.
Awesome.
Really.
Well, so what's your favourite food? Putting you on the spot here.
I guess it's jollof rice, really.
Oh, really? What's that?
It's rice, tomato based, mixed up with with beef, chicken, all different types of meat, and with veg. Really.
Oh, sounds amazing.
Yeah, so I like it with plantain.
That's awesome.
Well.
How do you feel about snacks?
I love snacks.
You love snacks?
Yeah, I love snacks. I've always got like an arsenal of snacks in my cupboard.
Awesome.
Like the usual suspects. The usual suspects, after a hard day work, or even just snacking while working.
I know, it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to love it today because we have got a really exciting guest in the show. And we're going to be talking about snacks with a bit of attitude today. And our expert is Rob Brice from Crave. Welcome, Rob.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about Crave?
So Crave is a free-from brand and vegan in the market. Essentially what we're out to do is to create vegan and free-from snacks, products that are sort of emulations of well-loved normal products. So the whole sort of FOMO and no one missing out, that's the whole idea behind Crave. It's all about taste. I don't have any allergies or intolerances, so it's trying to make products that are as good as the standard products, and essentially you wouldn't have to buy a separate pack of crisps or a separate spread for all of your family, so everyone can have it. We try to do it in like a playful, tongue-in-cheek way. We like to say like we're standing out, so we're sticking out, so you stand out. That's the whole sort of essence behind the brand. It's interesting.
Does that ever get you in any trouble?
Recently, yes. I've had my first experience of some trouble.
Are we allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, of course.
So what happened then?
So we have recently been through some legal discussions with some of the bigger brands.
Right.
So products that are similar to the products that we have on shelf. So we've just come to the end of that. It's what we do.
And we can't talk about the old brand names, can we?
It's what we can't talk about the old brand names.
Can I describe the crisps?
Sure, yeah, by all means.
So these are in a beautiful big bag, and they're sort of like foot shaped, and they're pickled onion flavoured.
Yeah, that's it.
And they taste incredible.
Thanks.
So that got you in a bit of trouble, didn't it? And
yes.
I can't tell you what they were actually called.
Well, they're feet-shaped things. So yeah, we've just been through that. I think it probably happens to all brands at some point in various guises. I think we're probably a little bit more out there with what we've got in terms of products and what we're looking to do at the same time. We push the boundaries and try to be as near as possible. So it's what people love. Like, we've had messages from customers that I think one of the early ones when we first launched the said feet-shaped pickle things were a husband had like literally cried when he could have them because he hadn't had them since the age of 11 because he'd had an allergy since then. No. So, and that's the whole idea and sort of ethos behind the brand. So it's not going to stop what we're doing. I think we're just having a little think about how we do it and namings and things, because as well for people to find them, it's, you see it on social media and stuff, it's the first thing people are like, oh, there's a pickled onion flavoured this, and look guys,
yeah.
So yeah, we've in the last month we've had 3 products.
All 3 have been challenged.
All 3 we've had 3 challenges on products.
So the other one here is, I love the name of these. I'm not allowed to say it though, am I?
No.
Oh no. It's too funny. Can I just say it's got the word in it?
Yes.
In it.
Yeah.
These are flaming hot
Puffs,
which are long and orange, but flaming hot, not cheesy.
Yes, although that is in trouble as well.
Oh, is it? Right, okay.
There's there's a big legal bill at the end
There's
of
a
this.
big legal bill at the end of this.
And checking everything that's coming out next.
It's sort of part hilarious, part annoying, I imagine. But you know, you must have known you were pushing a bit of fun.
Yeah,
with these guys.
of course. And that's sort of, if I'm honest, it took a while longer on some of them than I thought, especially after sort of Audi and being on TV and seeing the products on there.
Tell us about Audi.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mad one, really, like to be on national TV. So they're just coming up for their second series of the show.
So what's the show called?
Now, it's Audi's Next Big Thing.
Audi's Next Big Thing. It was on like Channel 4.
Channel 4, yeah. 8 o'clock, Channel 4, like over 1 million viewers. So it's the first, it's actually... I think the format's been going in Ireland now for a couple of years, but it's the first time it's been picked up in the UK. So I get the like Daily Grocer email, and it was in the Grocer.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, shall I apply? What the hell? Like, you just never know with these things. I actually thought they were looking for smaller artisan producers. And so I kept saying to them all the way through, like the first initial stages, you do realise we're a brand. I don't produce any of this myself. And it just sort of started from there. So I think the process started probably February 2022.
Wow.
And then, yeah, in July we were filming. So you go through online submission and then various different stages of like hoop to jump over and products and technical things. And then it came down to, not a showdown, but kind of a showdown at Audi HQ. Where it was all filmed. So we were there at the first instance for about 3 days.
Wow.
Filming. Like one day, all we did was turned up and just walked up and down. So it's like an insight into filming. And
oh, you're joking? As in on film, walking up and down?
Just walking into Audi head office.
Wow.
So that was like a day sitting around and following people walking up and down. And then you go through and essentially pitch your products to 3 judges. So Chris Bevan, Anita Rani, and Julie Ashfield, Audi MD on the sort of commercial side. So slightly bizarre.
What was it like being on TV? Do you get stopped in, you know, the high street round here?
I've got bits once. So in a shop in London, I was with my other half and Carrie had been on it as well, because they then come after you go through the first stage of the final. They come to your house to film you and to get some like back content. And we're in a shop in King's Cross, and some woman came up and said, "Are you two those people off that Audi TV show?" And I was like, "Oh my god, this is so embarrassing."
That's amazing.
But the experience from start to finish was mega. I quite enjoyed it. And also in terms of exposure for a brand, like for a small brand like us, you can't buy that sort of exposure. Like for 2 weeks, my phone was like off the hook. And it definitely helped in terms of other retailers and things and sort of getting us on the map a little bit. So, yeah, absolutely amazing experience.
That's amazing. Because Colin, you had a friend, didn't you, that was on the show as well? Yeah. One of your competitors, I suppose.
Yeah, I was telling him about. Yeah, it was Paul Rostan from The Artful Baker as well. Yeah, I was actually in Ireland when I watched. I was in Armagh when I watched your show, so I'd always remember. I was watching it with the future in-laws, so yeah.
Oh,
yeah. No, but it seemed very. Was it very stressful, like being on there?
Like the crew and stuff make everything super like relaxing and stuff, and try and relax you as much as possible. Like there's a lot of content that goes into it, so lots of these sort of when they're asking you questions and stuff. The most nervous thing was that first day presenting everything to Julie and to Chris, and also you don't know who you're up against, and so you're with each other for like a day or two before, and so you've got a rough idea, but you've no idea who you're up against. And also, I was slightly nervous because I kept saying to the crew when they came up with the idea of having to present and pitch a product. I was like, I don't have I'm going to open a pack of crisps. I'm given 45 minutes to open a pack of crisps. I was like, what am I going to do with a pack of crisps for 45 minutes? So, and then it was coming up with something like imaginative to sort of bring it to life, and hence the big foot shape with snacks stuck all over it. But yeah, it was, even the guys that were super nervous, I don't think that it came across sort of on TV and stuff. So.
It didn't show for you, if I'm being honest. I'm not even just saying that. It didn't show for you that you seem like you've done it for years, like a veteran. But what is your background though?
It's always been food. So I like given up the hopes of playing football or anything like that professionally.
Yeah, same here.
I started off as a chef, so the passion has always been food, and from a young age. But like working in London in the chef environment and long hours and the money's not great, it then got to a stage like, what am I going to do now? Like I came quite disillusioned with it quite quickly. In that sort of environment, your friends are chefs, only people hang out with a chef.
Yeah,
he's off. None of your mates.
You don't see anyone.
No,
I know it. Yeah.
And so it was then that I started looking into sort of development and technical on the sort of retail side, but trying to get into it from a development chef point of view. But I was still really young. I was only like 22. And whereas like nowadays, they'd probably be more inclined to have someone that's a bit younger. Back like when I was looking, they want exec chefs with like 30 years experience. So I got in the grad scheme at Sainsbury's, and that's where it all started. So yeah, 6 years at Sainsbury's, technical and development, and then decided to start off on my own, like consulting. Spoke to a couple of suppliers, and that's where Crave came from. I was at Tesco's for 5 years consulting.
Wow.
And looked after sort of free from, and there was this latent gap in the market. Because everything was still is in some respects, and the brands, I suppose, are the guys that can really challenge it, but quite lifestyle-y. There's like a bunny jumping around on the front of things.
Yeah. I get you, yeah.
Or it's really medicinal because of the reason behind the freeform and the allergies and intolerances. So, and also, when people were talking to Tesco's and the retailers about what products they wanted or what would win awards, it was just the normal products that people wanted. But I suppose that as well was sort of the start of the vegan uplift as well in things like this, because we'd launch like chocolate boxes at Christmas, like a selection box, and it'd be free from milk and free from gluten.
Oh.
But the real sort of, it got talked about and the sort of publicity was coming from the vegan side. And even at that time, we were like, wow, like, that's unusual. We thought it'd be the free from mums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so there was just this gap for normal products that everyone could sort of have, and
like your old favourites that you had as a kid.
Yeah. Everyone's got a favourite snack, a favourite spread, a favourite chocolate bar, and allergies and intolerances stop people from doing loads of things.
I think you've kind of like killed two birds with one stone in the sense that you've gone down the nostalgic in terms of like the style of snacks, number one, and then number two, it's kind of like, it's not like you're jumping on like a fad or bandwagon, because you can't say free from vegan is part of a fad. It is. You either are, vegan or you're not, or you've got intolerances. So you've kind of like ticked majority of
the boxes.
Yeah, ticks the boxes without being, you jumped on a bandwagon. It's just because you haven't. Right?
Absolutely. And I love the way it's so positive on your packaging. You know how often it's like, not this or not that.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like gluten-free. Yep. Milk-free, obviously. Like you could just see like all of it, tongue-in-cheek. Yeah. It's like, let's just have some fun. It's a crisp.
And the thing is as well, it's not to be too sort of worthy and preachy, but there are brands out there that are, like you say, almost apologetic about being free from and things like that. We try not to be anything like that, and look at the packaging as well. It's standing out, so we stand out, so you fit in. So I suppose that's the one thing, sort of from a legal point of view, is that we are our own brand. Like the colours are bold, the colours are bright. The idea for Crave is that, I suppose you can see from the MPD and the stuff we've got coming up, we aren't looking to sit in one area. So we've got the snacks, we've got the spreads now and the dips. And like you said, Colin, there's so many gaps around. There's no reason to not go after other products. And also, I suppose the thing for us is we're not looking to be like latently healthy, or there's not this belief that because it's gluten-free, it's got to be under 100 calories, it's got to be super healthy and things like that. It's just normal.
It's just normal. Can we try them?
Yeah,
Let's
go
try
for
them. Have you had a little taste there? What are you thinking?
I think they're nice, very tasty. Like, go down well with a bit of cider.
We've just tried the feet, which may or may not come from some sort of large monster. And the pickled onion is really good, isn't it? It's really good. And what are these ones? These are the
spicy, hot,
the flaming hot
pillows
of deliciousness. It's amazing. So is this you've brought in here the pink bag and the red bag?
Yeah.
Since I can't mention what it's called. Have you got anything else in the range?
So snacks at the minute, we've got to add to this is a smoky bacon streaker. Ooh. And then we've got the spread, which you just launched, and the dipper as well. So that's the range at the minute. There's lots of MPD and stuff we're working on, some first to markets.
So those are the chocolate?
Yeah. So hazelnut-based
chocolate.
Milk-free, gluten-free. So, yeah, we're working on soya-free. It was originally a soya-free recipe. But as with all good sort of startups, something going wrong at the last minute and a new supply. So, we've got the 2 spreads. We've got another spread coming.
The name on this spread we can't say, can we?
Not on the spread. The dip pot you can. The Big Dipper.
The Big Dipper, cool.
Big Dipper, and then a hazelnut-based pot of spread.
So if people want to buy these who are listening...
Yes.
Where are they available?
Yep.
And are you able to tell us what the new names are going to be yet? Or do you not know for sure?
Yeah, so we do. So the feet-shaped pickled onion ones are going to be naughties.
Okay.
And they will be available in Morrison's, Ocado and Asda. And the puffs are going to be hot dogs, hot and spicy. And they will be available in Ocado, Morrison's, Asda. And we're just going to launch in September in another one of the big 4.
Amazing. And it's in Crave. I mean, the branding on your packaging is amazing. You just see this Crave. And that's the whole point, isn't it? That you've got this craving and maybe you are lactose intolerant or you're gluten intolerant or you're vegan or whatever.
100%. And that, the idea, we give you the products you crave. But even with that, when I first started out years ago, we sort of had our legal guys, they were like, don't use the word crave because you're going to get sued by Kellogg's.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't yet, but who knows after this?
Let's not tell them. Luckily, no one will be listening to this, except for the several thousand people that do.
What I wanted to ask you is, I know you've gone over what the product does include and what it doesn't include, but who is your ideal consumer, like target?
Yeah. So it's interesting. We had a meeting with one of the retailers last week, and they were saying about sort of their target consumer, who they expected to be buying into this. So for us, with the packaging and stuff, we're looking at sort of the younger generation. But what we've sort of said, the Gen, as it Y, Gen X, Gen Z sort of thing. Yeah. It's the parents of now, the younger parents who are having the kids of tomorrow. Yeah. So that's the whole idea for us. It's a cyclical thing where you've got the young parents buying it for their kids and the households, the kids are buying into it.
So they're having a packed lunchbox, you mean? That kind of vibe.
Potentially.
But would that mean smaller packet?
So, yeah, we're working on the smaller packet.
I don't know.
MPD, got a job.
You can't help it.
Yeah, that's the idea behind it. It's not to say that's as a brand. We obviously say this is our target audience, but it's for everyone really. And it's interesting trying to just when your target audience and stuff, and the difference between like a free from customer and a vegan customer, and the people that are buying into it. And we've seen that recently in Asda in the vegan section. It's quite different customer buying into that section in Asda that is in the Morrison's free from section. So that's why we set out with the brand and making it what it's like, how it looks and things like that, because we're going after those customers. And so far, so good. The feedback around the brand and stuff is always super good from any of the retailers and what we're trying to do, and sort of cemented recently with discussions and the launches coming up. On the right track, hopefully.
That's amazing. It's so exciting. I mean, would you go, I know we've caught you, we just happened to have you in the studio when you're right in the middle of all this kind of complication, shall we say. What would you have done differently if you knew now?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No, I'm always one of these things where everything happens for a reason.
Sure.
The problem is a lot. There's always a lot of problems. The problem is something happens from what has already happened. So from the tone of voice of the brand and what we're looking in doing in the products and stuff, that's what the retailers like. So that's what the retailers pick up on. It's almost more of an issue now because we're like, how do we like flip it on its head so we're still being true to what we want to do as a brand and how we sort of behave without stepping back too far. If we'd have maybe called them naughties when they'd started off, they might not have
gone as far as they have.
Exactly, the traction, and would people really have got them?
And then to segue into that, do you think it helped coming from like a foodie background to what you're doing now? Help, or if you didn't know,
it's different because like my background working as a consultant, technical and development stuff, you're obviously entrenched in it, and so you're
in the trenches.
The problem is when you're at a retailer or something like that, they've got a legal team that you go, we've got this problem, sort this out. Whereas when you're a startup, it's almost
just
like,
you.
Exactly. Well, this is it, and you don't know what you don't know. So
that's what I mean.
Parts of the business and like supply chain and legal and stuff. But when it's actually landing on your plate, okay, what do we do now? And that, like the Audi TV show, example of that, because obviously lots of the other people on the show are smaller artisan suppliers, and some of the guys that won, like the Jamaica ginger cake, had to scale up. They're making it in their kitchen. Whereas for us, we've always been set up for those volumes and those numbers. So when we're having the conversations like, can you produce like 200,000 units? We're like, yeah, of course we can. And the other guys are like, our kitchen we can't. So it definitely helps. And I must admit, some of the guys that obviously start up brands from scratch and come from like IT and things, it blows my mind to think how they would work through these things. And obviously like you teams of people and getting people in, but it definitely helps.
Yes, I can imagine. The knowledge you've got from obviously having worked in the industry, you know what kind of like a cheat code of what to expect, and what obviously there are. You're juggling many plates and curveballs that come into place. You've
it's the thrill of entrepreneurialism, though, isn't it? I mean, all three of us, we've got our own businesses, and just, when something that looks really bad happens, there's also this thing in my head now that I know, when something really bad happens, there's always something good that comes from it. Just like when there's something really good that happens, there'll be something bad that comes from it. Like, you have to count the cost on everything. Like
100%.
But actually, that's the thrill of it, right? Isn't it? That's the thrill of the like highs and lows and the kind of 1 a.m. finishes and the 5 a.m. starts, and they're like, oh, I have a family too, right? Okay, cool.
I know.
Suppose I should like see my other half or something.
9-month-old son.
9 months, amazing.
I know. We just come back
Hardcore.
from our first holiday, and that's the thing, I suppose. Like you said, you guys as well. When you run your own business, we've obviously got a team of people like involved now. Again, it's only really small, but decisions are still got to be made by you. There's still things that you have to pick up on. I look after MPD, so if you're not doing it at the minute, there's no one else doing it.
Yeah. So how do you?
Goes away.
So say you've got a big decision.
So MPD, just for people at home, that means new product development, right?
So you must run it past your partner, right? Or any ideas, or any do you? Or
So essentially, Crave is me in terms of Carrie's got her own business, she's to one side, and then the other guys in the business that support from a sort of like directors or sort of mentorship. There's things that I will run past them. Some of the legal stuff at the minute, like you've got to run everything past us.
Yeah.
But it's just making sure, like when you're on holiday and stuff, sometimes things just have to be done. And you know what it's like.
How do you switch off?
I don't. That's the problem. I think that's the biggest problem. Yeah, I never really switch off. And the thing is, like,
did you before though?
No, I'm one of those people that never.
I was going to say, chefs famously don't really switch off.
I can survive on like very little sleep, like less than 4 hours a night. So it's non-stop. I still do a little bit of consultancy as well for some other brands. So I'm my own worst enemy. That's the problem. But this day and age as well, like with phones, emails, there's no way to get, unless you literally go off grid. There's no way to get away, sort of.
I know, but maybe you're a bit like me. I don't actually want to switch off. I go on holiday and my brain, I've literally got a notebook and I'm like, I've had all these ideas for the business.
Come back.
And everyone in the team's like, oh God, the Good Ideas Club's just come back from holiday.
Too much time.
This looks annoying.
Exactly.
And I just think, we all get told we should shut down, and you definitely should. I know that that's good for you, and, there's meditation, there's other things, or going for a run. But I think some people are just made to be active thinkers. And I think for me, my having a break is going for a run or playing a game of netball or something where I'm completely present in that moment because I have to be. But if I were lying still, I get antsy and fidgety and I can't do it.
I can't. I 100% can't do it. Like we were away and Finley would have a sleep and a nap or something and I'd go out and go for a walk or I'd do something. I can't do it. I'm the same as you. Like I like cycling and that hours on the bike is where...
Active thinking.
You come up with your best ideas because everything else is sort of out of your head.
Yeah.
And you can sort of logically work through things or you're not even really thinking about it and your brain is ticking away and coming up with ideas itself. But I struggle to sit still, struggle not to do anything.
Yeah. And that's okay, though. We always get told that that's not okay. I think it's fine. I just think some people are made like that.
Yeah, 100%.
It's okay.
Everyone's different. And I suppose that's what makes the world go around, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's really cool. Unbelievably, we're out of time today. But I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much to Colin for coming in.
Having me.
Yeah, it's been awesome having you in the show here. And thank you very much for Rob from Crave. Make sure you get yourself down to the incredible list of different supermarkets that sell Crave various different types of crisps and snacks. Have a look at those. Thank you so much. You've been listening to Food Rebels. We broadcast live at 5 every Wednesday through radio shows and stations around the UK and further afield, as well as podcasting apps, all the usual ones, iTunes, Spotify, Audible, whatever one you've got on your phone. If you're interested to appear on the show, please do get in touch on hello@foodrebels.co.uk, as we'd love to hear from you, especially if you've got a rebellious story to tell us.